Welcome back to Horoscope TV. Today we are looking at the charts, we're tracking the transits, and we are preparing for a shift that feels, honestly, it feels a little bit seismic.
Oh, it really is. It's a massive shift.
Yeah, and if you are listening to this, you likely have that fire in your belly, that ram's horn determination, because we are talking about you. We're talking about Aries.
Right.
Specifically, we're going to analyze the forecast and the astrological data for March 2026.
And it is a huge month.
Yeah.
And I don't use that word lightly at all. Usually, when we approach a birthday season.
It's party time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially for Aries, because
Yes.
Aries kicks off the entire astrological new year. So we expect a party, we expect confetti, and there is some confetti in the data for March 2026, but there is also a lot of homework.
Homework during birthday season? I mean, that feels entirely unfair.
It does.
But I was looking over the planetary movements you sent over, the ephemeris, and I see what you mean now. It looks like a really complex cocktail.
Very complex.
We have this incredible high-octane energy, like what the internet might call main character energy.
Yes.
But it's mixed with some really heavy grounding responsibilities.
Exactly. It is not a straight shot to the finish line this month. Our mission today is to analyze these specific planetary shifts, the eclipses, because
Oh, right. We have a major eclipse.
we do. We have a major eclipse to deal with, and the intricate transits of March 2026. If you are an Aries, or honestly, even if you're just close to one, this is your navigation manual.
Yeah.
We want to help you maximize that potential without burning out,
Mm.
because the risk of burnout is actually statistically very high in this chart.
Right. So we're going to structure this analysis kind of like a roadmap.
Okay.
We are going to talk about the glow up coming from Venus, which sounds incredibly fun.
It's fun.
But we also have to unpack a massive cleanup of daily habits driven by that lunar eclipse you mentioned. Then we need to make sense of a really strange energy dip mid-month, where the car just sort of seems to stall out.
Yeah, the engine floods a bit.
Right, followed by a huge resurgence. And finally, we have to talk about the boss-level alignment at the end of the month regarding long-term future planning.
It really is a month of two distinct halves. Or perhaps layers is a better word for it.
Layers, yeah.
Because you have the surface level sparkle, and then underneath you have the deep subterranean structural work.
Well, let's start with the sparkle.
Always a good place to start.
Let's start with the vibe and the identity shift, because before we get to the heavy lifting, the charts show a really interesting move on March 6th.
Yes, March 6th is the opener for all of this. This is when Venus enters Aries.
Now, I love this transit. To me, Venus in Aries feels like the ultimate confidence boost. But tell me, from a technical perspective, what is actually happening in the chart when the planet of love and beauty moves into the first sign of the zodiac?
Great questions. So you have to understand the first house. In astrology, the first house is the house of self.
Right.
It is your identity, your physical body, your appearance, and basically how you greet the world. It's the shop window of your life.
I love that analogy. The shop window.
Yeah, so when Venus, which governs attraction and charm and value, when Venus steps into that shop window, the display changes completely.
So you're not just feeling good internally, you are actively projecting something different to everyone else.
Precisely. It is all about magnetism. The data suggests this creates a bright and beautiful energy in your daily interactions. But, and here's the really important nuance for you to remember, Aries energy is usually associated with aggression.
Right, the warrior planet, Mars.
Exactly, the warrior. It's very much an energy of, I want this and I'm taking it. But when Venus comes in and softens that,
Oh, I see.
it becomes, I want this and you want to give it to me.
Wow. That is a really powerful distinction. It's the difference between demanding attention and naturally attracting it without even trying.
Correct. It is a charming confidence. It is not pushy at all.
Yeah.
People are just drawn to your natural charm during this window. So if you have been feeling invisible during the winter months,
Which happens a lot.
it does happen, especially when the sun is in those lower, darker parts of the chart. But March 6th is the light switch. It is absolutely the time for you to step into the spotlight.
And this really sets the table for the main event later in the month, March 20th.
Yeah.
The sun moves into Aries. The equinox?
The equinox is non-negotiable power. It marks the start of the birthday season, yes, but biologically and energetically, it represents a total reset. The sun is exalted in Aries.
Okay, I have heard that term before, exalted. But what does that actually mean in plain English for the listener?
Think of it like an athlete playing on their home turf.
Okay.
With the perfect weather conditions, the crowd cheering them on. When a planet is exalted, it's in the position where it functions most efficiently. It's operating at peak performance. The sun represents vitality, ego, and drive.
Right?
So in Aries, there are no filters blocking that solar light. It is pure, unadulterated life force. It is a massive battery recharge for you.
But looking at the ephemeris for March 2026, the sun isn't the only player on the field on March 20th. There's something else happening that makes this particular equinox incredibly special.
Yes, and this is crucial for anyone who has felt like their brain is full of cotton wool lately. Mercury goes direct on the exact same day, March 20th.
Hallelujah! No more retrograde.
Exactly. We've been in a period of retrograde shadow leading up to this.
All the miscommunications.
The miscommunications, the tech glitches, that awful feeling of walking through waist-deep mud. When Mercury stations direct on the very day the sun enters your sign, it creates this incredible synergy.
It's like the fog lifts at the exact moment the engine starts.
That is the perfect way to put it. The analysis suggests that misunderstandings just vanish. Your mind becomes sharp and focused just as your physical energy returns.
Wow.
So you aren't just running fast, which, let's be honest, Aries loves to do, regardless of direction. You actually know exactly where you are running to. You can express your thoughts clearly. You can make important decisions.
Which is really good, because as we are going to see, you have some massive decisions to make this month.
You really do.
But before we get to that high-speed chase, we have to talk about the hurdle. We need to discuss section 2 of our analysis: health, habits, and the lunar eclipse.
We cannot ignore the beginning of the month. March 3rd is a date everyone needs to circle in red ink right now.
A lunar eclipse. And this one is happening in the zone of daily routines and health. Now, I know eclipses can be dramatic. They aren't just regular full moons, right?
No, not at all. They are full moons on steroids. An eclipse occurs when the moon lines up with the lunar nodes.
The nodes of destiny.
Right, the points of destiny and karma in the chart.
Yeah.
They are cosmic pivot points. They tend to eclipse something out of your life to make space for something else. And this specific eclipse falls right in your 6th house.
Now, the 6th house is the Virgo house, isn't it? The house of the grind.
It is. It governs your daily routine, your physical health, your diet, your coworkers, and your endless to-do list.
So not the glamorous stuff.
No, it's not the glamorous career house. It's the did you floss your teeth house.
And an eclipse there, that sounds intense.
It's a loud wake-up call. The expert analysis of the chart is pretty stark here. This isn't a gentle suggestion from the universe. If you have been eating poorly, skipping workouts, or just living in a way that is biologically unsustainable.
Running on fumes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This eclipse is going to highlight that with a massive spotlight.
So if I've been saying, oh, I'll start eating better on Monday, or I'll stop doom scrolling at 2 a.m. eventually, the universe is basically stepping in on March 3rd and saying, time's up.
Do it now, or we will force you to. That is exactly the energy. It is about clearing clutter, and that applies to your schedule as well. If your calendar is jammed with obligations that don't actually move the needle for you, this eclipse might see them abruptly canceled.
That can be hard for an Aries, though. They really suffer from FOMO. They want to say yes to absolutely everything.
They do. They have limitless enthusiasm.
Mm.
But the eclipse energy strongly supports clearing the deck. You might find yourself finalizing a big project way ahead of schedule, or suddenly realizing that a certain volunteer position or a side hustle is just draining you and needs to go immediately.
Right.
It is a sanitation of your life.
Sanitation. That sounds a bit sterile, but obviously very necessary. But there is another layer to this physical picture in early March that seems, I don't know, it seems tricky. Paradoxical, even. We have Mars involved.
You do. And this is the energy paradox I mentioned earlier. Mars is the ruling planet of Aries. It is your engine. It's your gas pedal.
Right. It's what makes an Aries an Aries.
Exactly. On March 2nd, literally just a day before that intense health eclipse, Mars enters Pisces.
Okay, let's break that down for a second. Mars is fire and drive and action. Pisces is water. It's the ocean.
It's the deep, vast ocean. It's the subconscious. It's dreams and rest. So imagine taking a high-performance race car and just driving it straight into a lake.
That sounds incredibly damp and frustrating. The engine would totally flood.
Exactly. It creates a massive internal conflict for you. Your mind, especially with Venus in Aries starting on the 6th, wants to go, go, go. You have that main character vibe. You want to be seen.
Yeah.
But your body, influenced by your ruler Mars in that watery Pisces sector, is just screaming for rest.
So you have this high mental drive, but your physical battery is draining twice as fast.
Precisely. And that is the exact recipe for burnout or even an injury if you aren't careful.
Right.
The advice here in the astrological data is very specific. Avoid pushing too hard at the gym early in the month.
Oh, I see.
Like if you try to hit a personal best on the deadlift on March 4th because your ego says, I'm strong, I have Venus in my sign, but your ruling planet Mars is practically asleep in Pisces, you might really hurt your back.
Because your ruler, Mars, is essentially napping or like meditating.
It's meditating deeply in the 12th house.
Mm.
So your strategy should be yoga, stretching, long walks, and sleep.
Mm.
You need to prioritize sleep. Pisces rules the dream world. You might actually find your dreams are incredibly vivid and telling during this time.
It's almost like the universe is putting you in a forced time out right before the birthday season starts.
That is a brilliant way to put it. Think of it as a taper period.
Right, like athletes do.
Exactly. Elite athletes taper before a big race. They don't train hard the week before the Olympics. They rest. So this is your taper. Because remember, once the sun enters Aries on March 20th, that vitality completely bounces back.
The battery is full again?
High-energy sports become viable again. But you have to survive the first 2 weeks of March without blowing a fuse.
Okay, so the takeaway for early March: we are decluttering, we are sleeping, we are doing yoga, even if our ego desperately wants to sprint.
Yes.
Let's pivot to career, because if we are clearing the deck of small tasks, that usually means we are making room for big moves.
And there's some very interesting behind-the-scenes moves happening here. Section 3 of our analysis is all about career strategy.
The outline you put together calls this the stealth phase. That sounds really cool.
It is cool, but it requires a lot of patience. This correlates with that Mars and Pisces energy we just talked about, and the new moon on March 19th. The new moon happens in the most hidden part of your chart, the 12th house again.
Can we talk about the 12th house for a second? Because you mentioned it with Mars, and now we have a new moon there. What exactly is the 12th house?
Think of the 12th house as the backstage area of a theater. The audience cannot see it. It is pitch dark.
Okay.
But that is where the costumes are changed, it's where the sets are built, and the scripts are memorized. A new moon here isn't a premiere, it's a dress rehearsal in the dark.
So this is definitely not the time to broadcast every single career move on LinkedIn.
Absolutely not. You know how Aries usually likes to announce, hey, I'm doing this huge thing, and then go do it?
Yeah, they aren't exactly known for their stealth or their secrecy.
No, they're very upfront. But mid-March demands secrecy. It demands high-level strategy. This is a time for deep research. You are planning the next big career move in absolute silence.
So if you're unhappy at work right now, maybe this is when you're polishing the resume, but you aren't actually posting it yet.
Correct. Or if you are working on a creative project, you are deeply in the development phase. You're using your imagination, which is highly heightened by that Pisces energy, to solve tricky, complex problems before you ever present the solution.
You want the reveal to be flawless.
Exactly. You want it perfect, but all that work happens in the dark.
And when do we finally get to reveal it? Because there is a date here in the data that looks incredibly intense, March 25th.
The boss moment. This is without a doubt the heavyweight aspect of the entire month. The sun meets Saturn in Aries.
Sun conjunct Saturn in the first house. I mean, that sounds heavy.
It is heavy. Saturn is the planet of structure, discipline, authority, and time. It's often called the taskmaster or father time.
Right.
When the sun illuminates Saturn in your sign, the absolute spotlight is on your maturity.
So this isn't just about being the idea guy anymore. This is about being the execution guy.
Exactly. The expert analysis of this transit heavily warns that bosses, managers, VIPs, they are all watching you right now. They aren't looking for a flash in the pan. They are looking for rock-solid reliability. It is a major test. Can you handle the weight?
And if you pass the test?
The rewards are substantial. There was a very strong possibility of a major promotion or being handed a new leadership role. But, and this is key, it won't be given to you just because you're charming.
Even though Venus says you are very charming right now.
Right, the charm gets you in the door. But the role will be given because you conclusively proved you can handle the responsibility.
It builds a true foundation.
Yes. Saturn always rewards long-term effort. What you lock in around March 25th could literally define your career trajectory for years to come.
Wow.
It feels like really heavy work in the moment. You might feel the intense pressure. You might feel like, ugh, I have to be the adult in the room again. But you are building a castle, not just pitching a tent.
So show up on time. Dress the part. Be the absolute adult in the room on March 25th.
Absolutely. No cutting corners at the end of the month. Saturn sees everything.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit. We've talked about work, we've talked about the gym, and the deep need to rest. Let's talk about love. Because with Venus in Aries, I imagine things are getting pretty spicy.
Oh, it is a roller coaster. Section 4. Love and relationships. If you're an Aries, you really might want to buckle up for this part.
Well, we already mentioned March 6th. Venus enters Aries. We established that brings the charm.
Irresistible charm. If you are single, the advice is simple. Be bold.
Hmm.
Make the first move. The astrological data clearly says your natural charm is completely irresistible right now. The confidence you project is intoxicating to other people.
I love that for them. But then just a few days later, on March 10th, I see Venus connects with Pluto.
Yes, and this adds a layer of intensity that goes way beyond just lighthearted flirting. Pluto is the planet of the underworld, of total transformation,
Yeah.
of the taboo.
So Venus, the planet of love, meets Pluto, the planet of obsession.
Exactly. Venus-Pluto aspects are not about small talk about the weather. They are about soul connections, deep, profound passion. You are not just looking for a casual date. You're looking to merge.
Wow.
You want to know someone's deepest secrets.
It says here in the notes, sharing true desires. So this is a genuinely good time to be vulnerable.
It really is. It is a time to reveal what you really want out of a partnership. The superficial stuff just won't cut it around March 10th.
Yeah.
You want the raw truth. If you are already in a relationship, this is the night for that deep, late-night conversation that changes everything between you two.
But then we hit what the outline calls the warning zone, March 18th.
Right. Venus squares Jupiter.
Now, in astrology, a square usually means tension or conflict, but Jupiter is the planet of luck and expansion. How can expanding your love life possibly be a bad thing?
It's a fair question. Jupiter expands whatever it touches.
Right.
When it squares Venus, it expands desire, confidence, and optimism, but often to a massive fault. It creates excess.
I see. Too much of a good thing.
Exactly. The risk here is going totally overboard. In relationships, this usually manifests as overpromising. Because you feel so amazingly good, you might say, yes, I will absolutely move in with you. Or, yes, let's book that expensive trip to Bali.
Yes, I can totally handle all of that emotional labor.
Exactly.
And then the reality check comes later.
Always. The analysis explicitly warns against making grand gestures that simply aren't sustainable. You might feel like you can give the whole world to someone on the 18th, but you need to check your bank account and your emotional bandwidth first.
You don't want to write a check. Your heart can't cash.
That is exactly it. Keep one foot firmly on the ground, because the end of the month brings a very different, very beautiful energy.
Late March. Healing and grounding.
Yes. On March 26th, Venus connects with Chiron.
Now, Chiron is known as the wounded healer in astrology. That sounds incredibly poetic.
It is poetic, and it is also profound. Chiron represents the deep hurt we carry that eventually allows us to empathize with others. When the planet of love touches the wounded healer right in your sign, it is a massive opportunity to finally let go of past heartbreaks.
So if you have been carrying around this heavy baggage like, oh, I'm just bad at relationships or everyone always leaves me, this transit actually helps you clear that negative narrative.
It helps you completely rewrite it. You can finally see the wound, acknowledge it without judgment, and then actively choose a healthier way of loving. It is a very tender, gentle energy.
That seems really necessary after the sheer intensity of Pluto and Jupiter earlier in the month.
It really calms things down. And then the final shift happens on March 30th. Venus moves out of Aries and into Taurus.
And Taurus is ruled by Venus.
It is. It is Venus coming home to her own living room. The energy completely shifts from the fiery, fast-paced passion of Aries into the highly sensual, steady comfort of Taurus.
So we go from main character energy out on the town to cozy night in energy.
Exactly. It becomes all about building reliable bonds, cooking a slow dinner together, enjoying high thread count sheets, physical touch. It is a very grounding, stabilizing end to what was a wild month.
I think you're going to really appreciate that cool down. Now, speaking of checking your bank account, like we said earlier, let's look at the financial outlook, because I see a very similar pattern here in the data. Some luck, followed by a bit of a trap.
It tracks very closely with the relationship energy. Money and love are very often linked in astrology because Venus rules both of them.
We'll start us off with the good news then.
March 5th, the Sun connects with Jupiter. This is a sextile, which is a highly harmonious aspect.
We like Jupiter when it's playing nice.
We do. This is a genuinely lucky aspect. The forecast predicts unexpected income boosts, clever ideas for new earnings, or just really helpful budget tips suddenly landing in your lap.
The notes here say an open mind attracts abundance.
That is the absolute key. Don't be rigid on March 5th. If someone suggests a weird way to save money, or a side hustle you had never considered before, listen to them. The universe is actively trying to hand you a coin.
Okay, but then we have that March 18th date rearing its head again, Venus square Jupiter.
Yeah.
You mentioned this in the love section as overpromising, but in finance, you've labeled this the spending prat.
It is the classic retail therapy aspect.
Yeah.
You feel wildly generous. You feel rich, even if you aren't actually rich.
So it's the urge to treat all your friends to a five-star dinner.
Or to buy that luxury item you've been eyeing for 6 months. The logic just goes completely out the window. Your brain says, I deserve this. It's my birthday season.
Which is true, you do deserve it, but...
But the budget might not support it.
Yeah.
And remember, we have that heavy Saturn aspect coming up on the 25th.
Oh, right. Saturn hates reckless spending.
Saturn hates anything reckless. If you blow the budget on the 18th because you're feeling expansive, you will deeply regret it when Saturn shows up on the 25th and hands you the literal and metaphorical bill. The advice is very strict here. Stick to the financial plan to avoid massive stress later.
But then, just like in the love sector, we have a stabilization period at the end of the month. March 30th, Venus enters Taurus.
Yes, and Taurus rules the second house for Aries, the sector of personal wealth and material possessions.
Okay.
This is one of the absolute best transits for money. Venus attracts money very easily here. It heavily encourages saving. Your financial security finally returns.
So if you can just hold on to your wallet during the chaotic middle of the month, the end of the month looks very secure and comfortable.
Yes, it is a sandwich.
Yep.
You have really good bread on either side, but the middle is a bit messy.
I love a messy sandwich, just not with my credit score.
Agreed.
Let's talk about the people around you. We've talked extensively about your internal world, your money, your career, but who are you interacting with? Let's look at compatibility and social dynamics. Who is an Aries vibing with in March 2026?
The gold star absolutely goes to Gemini this month.
Gemini, the twins, why them specifically?
Elementally, air feeds fire. That is the basic astrological foundation. Fire needs oxygen to burn brighter. But specifically in this transit, Gemini loves the bold confidence that Aries is exuding thanks to Venus. Gemini loves a good show, and Aries is putting on a spectacular show right now.
So they are the exact audience you need.
They are. And there are key dates where this partnership really shines. Think back to that March 3rd eclipse.
The heavy, serious, clean up your life moment.
Yeah. Gemini keeps things light. While you're stressing out about your routines and your health and your inbox, Gemini's there making jokes, keeping the mood buoyant.
Providing perspective.
Exactly. They offer perspective. You desperately need that levity during the eclipse.
That's invaluable. It's a distraction, but a really healthy one.
And then look at the communication transits. March 11th, Jupiter goes direct. March 20th, Mercury goes direct. From the 20th onwards, you and a Gemini can talk for hours and hours. The ideas will just flow flawlessly.
No misunderstandings.
None. Just rapid-fire mental connection.
What about the new moon on March 19th?
That was the spiritual exploration and hidden energy we discussed. Gemini is naturally endlessly curious. They will happily go down that deep rabbit hole with you. They won't judge your weird Pisces-infused dreams. They will analyze them with you.
So definitely find a Gemini for the fun times and the depth talks. Now, who should we maybe avoid, or at least handle with a bit of extra care?
The forecast heavily suggests that Cancer is the challenging match this month.
The crab. Water and fire.
Usually a steamy, passionate mix, but here it really drowns the flame.
Why specifically in March?
Remember Mars in Pisces on March 2nd? That intensely watery, emotional energy? It makes everyone a bit more sensitive overall, but Cancer literally lives in that water. They're going to be feeling absolutely everything.
And Aries is in cure go mode.
Aries is blunt. Aries is fast. Cancer is feeling deeply and moving sideways. Aries might accidentally hurt Cancer's feelings just by existing and being their usual selves.
And what about the March 3rd eclipse? Does that affect them?
Oh, hugely. That eclipse is in Virgo, which is a very detail-oriented sign. Cancer tends to worry a lot about tiny details and security. Aries just wants the big picture.
So you can instantly see the friction there.
Exactly. It's, why are you obsessing over this tiny detail versus, why don't you care at all about our safety?
And then the March 18th square.
Major disagreements on values.
Yeah.
Aries wants to rush out and spend big because of Jupiter. Cancer wants safety, savings, and security. It is a fundamental clash of needs during that mid-month period.
So what is the actionable advice here?
Give Cancer space. Do not force interactions. If they want to stay home and protect their emotional energy, let them do it. You go find your Gemini friend.
Avoid accidental drama. Got it. Okay, we are rounding the final corner here. I want to hit some rapid-fire astrological data for the listeners who really like the specifics.
Let's do it.
Lucky color of the month.
Red. Specifically, Hex code FF0000. It is the absolute power color of Aries.
Nice.
Wear it when you really need that boost of authority, especially around that March 25th Saturn transit.
Okay, lucky numbers.
7, 12, 19, 24, 33, and 41.
Best dates for taking action.
March 3rd for transformation. That's the eclipse, so it's action through subtraction. March 6th for pure confidence when Venus enters. And March 19th for strategy with the new moon.
And we have a specific physical warning to revisit from earlier.
Yes, please pay attention to this. March 25th, the sun meets Saturn. While this is fantastic for your career reputation, physically, Saturn rules the bones, the teeth, and the joints.
So like a posture check.
Posture check, absolutely. Be very careful with your knees. Do not do anything high impact without a proper, thorough warm-up. Protect your physical structure. Saturn does not like it when you skip the warm-up.
Okay, let's zoom out for a second. We have covered a massive amount of ground today. If we look at the narrative arc of this entire month for Aries, it is really a story of maturation.
It truly is. It starts with this amazing sugar rush, Venus entering your sign. You feel great, you look great, people are drawn to you.
Yeah.
But then the universe immediately hands you a broom with that eclipse and says, clean up your act. You have to navigate a really low-energy physical period while your mind is just racing. You have to actively avoid the temptation to overpromise and overspend mid-month.
And then you have to suit up.
You have to suit up. You absolutely have to nail that boss-level commitment at the end of the month with Saturn.
It feels like a graduation.
It really does. You start the month as the popular kid, and you end the month as the class president.
That is a fantastic analogy. And that brings us to the end of our analysis of the data. But before we go, I want to leave you with a thought to mull over, specifically regarding that heavy March 25th Sun-Saturn conjunction.
It's the pivotal moment of the month.
It is. And the question is this. When the spotlight hits you at the end of the month, and it definitely will, are you ready to sacrifice a little bit of your freedom for a lot of long-term stability?
Because that is exactly what Saturn asks.
It asks for a trade. Your freedom now for your security later.
That is the ultimate question for March.
Think about it. Thank you so much for listening to the episode on Horoscope TV. We really hope this roadmap helps you navigate your birthday season with both grace and power.
Absolutely. Make it a great one, Aries.
And if you found this helpful, please suggest to subscribe so that you can get notified when the next episode and next month's forecast is available. We will see you in the stars.